I'm Ramona Zabriskie, author of Wife for Life, The Power to Succeed in Marriage, and the founder of Wife for Life University. And I'm here today for another episode of our YouTube show, Wife Support, with two members of my dream team, Brooke and Emily. Hi, guys.
Hey.
And we're going to talk about another topic that is related to family and Christmas, because we are smack in the middle of holiday season and we're getting a lot of letters that are very similar, but sometimes in a little different vein, about how to handle the intense togetherness of a family during the holidays. So we have one in particular today that has to do with mothers. Brooke, tell us what our viewers asking us.
She asked, my mother is coming to stay with us over the holidays. Even when she's here for only a couple days, it affects the dynamics in our family, which can be stressful. How can I minimize the impact, or at least make things as pleasant as possible for my husband?
Okay, so it sounds like the family ecosystem gets a little off kilter when mom comes to actually stay for a few days. What the viewer is not really clear about is why this is causing her husband some discomfort. I'm not even sure if it's causing her a whole bunch of discomfort or him. So let's think about why he's not really excited about mom's visit. A couple of things came to my mind, but I want to know what you guys think. Emily, what could be one of the reasons maybe that he's not excited?
Well, I think there are maybe a couple, but we might consider that when mom comes, maybe mom and daughter are super close and super good friends, don't get to see each other often. And so when mom comes, maybe the husband feels a little bit put to the side, and that might be kind of hard for him. You know, they get together and start chatting and he's maybe left out. And that's really hard. He might feel neglected.
Yeah, he's used to being the center of her world.
Right.
He should be all the time, actually, but you're right. Okay, so like we said, the ecosystem gets a little off kilter. Brooke, can you think of another reason he wouldn't be happy about it?
Well, one other reason might be that the mother and daughter, although in the same family and love each other, kind of butt heads a little bit and have a harder time working things out. They each have their maybe own way that they like to do things. And so when she is stressed, then he can take on and feel that stress. And, you know, he wants us to be happy. And so to see us in that situation unsettles him.
Ah,
I think that's great, Brooke. I really second that stress thing. It's really important. And that can even be if you are close, or if you're one of those women that really like to impress mom or care for her a lot when she comes, and it's just an added burden on you, and that can cause you stress, and your husband may really resent that for you.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that interesting? I think we don't fully consider the impact that we're having on our husband. I worry about him all the time, but I don't always think about how worried he gets about me. And the truth is, his whole life is built on me, actually, and he's very concerned about my happiness. So if someone's going to disrupt that, he's worried. Yeah. So, that's a really good one. Here's another one I thought of. What if mother's the kind of personality who's judgmental, or a little, tends to being critical, either of you or of him? Now we've got a real issue, right? And that is going to come back to, again, stress, but the idea of allegiance to your husband, having to choose between mom and husband every situation, siding with her, siding with him, that gets really sticky. So there's lots of reasons, we've named just 3 of them, why he's not going to be too excited. And what we need to do, number 1, is find out what is his reason. This is just so obvious, and sadly something that's easily looked over. Is we just got to talk. We've got to anticipate mom's coming, and then we've got to talk about it and be prepared, be proactive, have a plan, right? So first of all, let's see if we can get into his heart and find out, honey, help me to understand. What is it about mom's coming that has you concerned or worried? And then you really want to know. You're not set up to be critical. You're not set up to place any kind of judgment on his reasons. You're not going to talk him out of it either. We just want to know, honey, help me understand. And this is the first gigantic step towards mitigating any, the contention or the problems that could come along later. What other things can we do, ladies, to be proactive in anticipating mom's coming to avoid that kind of stuff?
Well, I think it's really important to sit down with your children if you have them in your home. Obviously, having grandma there, especially if you have younger children. But anytime grandma comes, she sometimes likes to indulge or spoil, or tries to discipline them over you or something like that. So I think having a good conversation with your children about what the expectations are when grandma's here. Mommy and daddy are still mommy and daddy. You need to come to us, maybe reminding them of some of your basic family rules, some kind of strategy to just have that plan in place so that when she comes, the kids know what to expect and there aren't any surprises.
Oh, that's so good. Fantastic. Because it's so much harder to solve those kind of issues in the moment, isn't it? Oh.
Especially with younger kids.
Yeah.
So if you talk to them beforehand, it really helps.
Oh, I love that idea. Fantastic. Now, what about we're communicating with our husband, we're making a plan with him, we're understanding him and assuring him when he does let us know how he feels, that these are ways that we thought of that we might help avoid or mitigate these things. And he gets involved, maybe even in that conversation with the children. But what about mom herself? What do we tell her?
So this can be a little confrontational. So you might have to put on your big girl pants. But it doesn't have to be confrontational in a negative way. What you really want is to be able to enjoy your time together, right? That's what we want. Right. And so when you want to talk to your mom, you can just let her know, I really want this to be successful. I want to have a great time. And so I want to make sure you understand something that I might need. And I really want to know what you want out of this trip. And that's something that personally I've been able to do with my mom. And you can't have a list. You don't want to be like, I need la 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 on. One or two things that you can just let her know. I would really appreciate it if this happened. Mm-hmm. For example, Emily mentioned how grandmothers, I would say all the time, like to spoil, but maybe usually. Something you could say is, can you let me know what you're planning on bringing to spoil them with? Or would you make sure to have them ask me if it's okay to have that treat at that moment? I might want them to have it closer to a meal or something. Sometimes I won't care, but it would mean a lot to me if you said, okay, go ask your mom or dad if that's okay. Yeah. I've told my mom, I want her to be like exciting and when she comes, and I don't mind being the bad guy because I kind of have to do that a lot of the time anyway. I would rather them come to me and be like, get a no or a later or something instead of her having to say not now. I want them to just really have a great time with me.
I think that's very, very thoughtful and a really positive way of approaching it. I know that as I'm in the position, right, of being the mother to adult children or the mother-in-law to adult children. And Brooke, your point about letting her know what you would like to get from having the put on the big girl pants, ask for the one or two things that would really make the difference for you, but also being open to her. Right. I know, for instance, the idea that I'm coming to visit, my children will assume that I want to spend 24/7 with them or the children, for instance, or that I'm going to be the babysitter for the next 5 days. And I'm excited about that. But honestly, I like my couple of hours to myself in the morning. And, so I should ask me that. And I would love the opportunity to articulate that there are some things like, this is a getaway for me too. And so I love that idea of the
both can have one or two things to really, and that just helps clear it up. And then okay, great. It's so much easier to know those things in advance. Right. And have your mom, if she likes to be in bed for a few hours, but where's my mom? I thought she was going to help with breakfast. And knowing oh great, I know that she needs that time, and the rest of the day she's really going to be doing whatever these other things, helping with
Right.
I think that's so great. I think it all goes back to planning. And that's when my mom recently was in town, my kids made a list before she came of all the things they wanted to do with grandma. And I think that's something that we can even do as adults. We can say, you know, Mom, I'd really like a date with my husband while you're here. Would that be okay? And what day would be best for you? Or I'd really like a chance for us to go out to lunch while you're here, and maybe my husband can stay with the kids. Would that be okay? And
then we say to husband, we say to husband, would it be all right?
Yeah.
With my mom. Right.
Yeah. So I think all that planning ahead just really sets you up for a lot more success. And it may not be perfect, but at least you will have planned and everybody will kind of be on the same page. And I also just wanted to add that it's just like we recently talked about in another wife support video, it's a great time for self-care too, so that you don't get too stressed, and make sure that you're aware of where your threshold is. And maybe you say to your mom, you know, I would really love an hour to go shopping or to take a nap. Would that be okay? And talk with her about that as well. So.
Oh, absolutely. You're the hub of the wheel, right? So you've got to keep your balance for all the other people out there on the spokes to keep their balance. So always it comes back to being aware of yourself, taking care of you, and then keeping your husband central. His happiness is your happiness is his happiness, and just pushing him onto the outskirts while mom's around and letting him deal with it on his own is not the wisest way to build your marriage or to become his intimate. So we're really, really thankful that this viewer sent in this question, because it was a fabulous one, and I know there's a lot of us out there that are dealing with it. So we hope that it's been helpful to you in creating the Christmas that you are dreaming about for your husband, your children, they're number one, remember, and then extended family that might be involved as well. But most of all, we want you to have a Merry Christmas and you to make sure that happens. Take care of yourself. All right, we'll see you next time at our next wife support video. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Emily. Come to RamonaZabriskie.com to learn all about what we do at Wife for Life, including our fabulous Wife for Life University. All right, have a Merry Christmas. Bye, everybody.